Hello everybody, so this is Elevenses Speak and going live at 11 o'clock. So hi, it's Jane here and I hope you're all well. So we're going to start today's classroom with just saying something about how things are at home. So I'm going to start by just saying hi. And if you want to, you can add in live chat to say hello. Now, on my screen, you can see that I'm at home with my husband and children. Well, oh yes, I am also at home with the kitten and my cat. So we've got a cat who's that's Barney, he's about 7 years old now. And we've only had the kitten for a few weeks, so we started looking after the kitten for somebody else, and now he's staying with us. So we're all at home together, my husband, my two boys, myself, and the cat and kitten. And yes, it can be a difficult time for all of us, can't it? So, what about you? How about you? You? So we could phrase this question in any way that we want to. What are you doing? What's it like for you? Because it isn't always easy to all be in the same house and not be able to go out. So what about you? How about you? And when we say you, well, if you've got young children at home, you could probably play this game that we do, which is called I Spy. So I Spy is very important that you think about things that you can see, especially with young children, because they can't think in their heads what you're thinking about, so they need to be able to see the object. And we do I Spy by thinking about the letter that begins the word of the thing that we can see. So to begin with, you can't use heart because you can't see your heart, but you could use dog. So you could say, I spy with my little eye something beginning with D, and it's dog. Or I spy with my little eye, do you know what this is? Something beginning with R, rhinoceros. Or, I spy with my little eye something beginning with F. And here we have a lot of fish. Can't quite see the word there, but we know how to spell fish, don't we? So the other thing I wanted to just stop and talk to you about is that word fish, because you can see in this picture there's more than one, so that's plural. So we use the word fish for singular and fish for plural. However, that can change. So you might sometimes hear people use the word fishes. So we're just going to stop a moment and have a look at why do people do that? Well, the plural of fish is usually fish, and I think that's a word we'll all be using. We'll all be saying fish. Come and look at my fish. But when you're talking about more than one species, that means more than one type of fish, then you would use the plural fishes. So scientists often use the word fishes. So if you wonder, we use the word fish. And the zodiac sign, Pisces, we often talk about that as fishes. So when you're talking to your friends or we're talking about fish, we'll use the plural fish. Glad we cleared that up. So if we're looking at I Spy, there have to be items that are in the room. So for this, I'm going to look at what items are on the screen. I can see here I've got a clock, and right up in the corner then I've got another different type of clock. I've got a pencil, some paper, a hat, a table and a ball, or that might be referred to as football. So sometimes we have to remember that one thing might start with more than one letter. So we're looking at the letter T. And we use the little rhyme, I spy with my little eye something beginning with T. Well, is it clock? No. Is it hat? No. So when the children are responding to us, we get them to say, is it? Is it hat? Is it clock? Is it ball? Is it table? So yes, that's the way that you get the answer. So because we're all stuck at home, if you have young children with you, it can be useful to make up games that aren't going to cost you any money, that you can just laugh about together, because it's quite important, isn't it, when we're together to have a little bit of a laugh. So I'm going to talk today about a letter to you. Now, I think everybody knows that there are two main types of letter: the formal letter, where you're writing to a business or the council, and an informal letter, where you're writing to your friend. But do you know what an open letter is? Now, there are two meanings, definitions was the word we use. There are two definitions for an open letter. An open letter might be something that you write to a person, but you want everybody else to see, so you'd get it printed in a newspaper. So, for example, you might write a letter to the Prime Minister, but you might have an opinion about something that you want everyone else to see. So you write, Dear Prime Minister, or Dear Mr. Johnson, and then you send the letter to the newspaper to be printed as an open letter. This means that although it's written originally for the Prime Minister, everybody who reads that newspaper can see it. And when we talk about letters, we talk about the word recipient. Recipient just means the person the letter is intended for. So your open letter is published in a newspaper or magazine, addressed to a particular person, but everybody can see it. But an open letter can also be something that you've written to be read by a large number of people, and you haven't written who the letter is for. So you haven't written Dear Mr. Johnson, or you haven't written Dear Jane, or whoever the letter is for. You've just written it as a letter for everybody. So I've written an open letter for you. So my audience is Elevenses Speak, anybody who happens to see this video or is in the live classroom at the moment. So my open letter is for you. And when you're writing a letter, you often have to ask yourself questions. And this is what I had to do. I had to think, would I write about an issue I have some time to discuss? Well, I can't really discuss what I want to say in this classroom because I can't see anybody. So it's really, discussion depends on when you're sitting as a group and you can see the person that you're talking to. If people have really good writing skills, perhaps they might write in the live chat, and then that's a written type of discussion. So my answer would be, I can't talk to you about it as a discussion, so I need to write a letter. So does the recipient, do you remember, this means the person who's going to get the letter, the person you wrote the letter for, does the recipient receive regular post? Well, do you know, I don't know where anybody lives in Elevenses Speak. I know that people come onto the classroom and look at what we've been talking about today, but I don't know where they speak, so I can't write a letter that's sent. Do you know whether to handwrite or print your letter? Well, my handwriting's not very good, so I've printed the letter using a computer. And because I don't know where everybody lives, I've actually done this as an open letter. That means that my letter is for everybody who shares this group. So, what's my purpose? Yes, it's to inform you about something, and it's also to describe what it's like for me. What's my audience? Well, actually, my audience is everyone in the Elevenses group, because I haven't written this letter to one person. I've written an open letter for everybody in this group. So, what did I write? Well, my open letter is for all of you, so I'm going to read my letter now. Be safe, be well, be kind, stay connected. Sharing with you my time at home, I stop at 11 o'clock every Monday and open the classroom. Today, this open letter will also share with you what I think about time at home. So my purpose is to tell you all about what I think about being stuck at home. I am not allowed out. Why? Not being allowed outside my home gives me the greatest chance of not catching anything that will make my health worse. Like you, I'm confined. So we use the word confined when we mean that we are actually stuck in one place. We're not allowed to go anywhere. Like you, I can only see those who are in my home with me. So do you remember at the beginning I showed you who was in my home? The kitten, the cat, my husband and my 2 boys. Having a new grandchild means I cannot see her. To be safe, I learn how to use FaceTime and share some precious moments of my granddaughter at her home. I know, but I'm older and I'm not used to using this video phone. So for anybody I've phoned where you can see me, that's a really precious moment, because I don't do that. I don't know how to do that, and now I've learned how to do that. Sometimes I find it a little difficult. So I'm using some precious moments by seeing my granddaughter on the phone. Are you doing this too? Oh, I hope you are. I hope you're phoning your family and your friends and chatting to them over some kind of live link. To be kind, I try to share some laughter, listen to her laughter, just laugh, because do you know, that's why I laugh a lot about a lot of things, because it makes my life a bit easier and I worry less. I hope you've found quite a lot to laugh about. Not being able to go out means no shopping. That's terrible. You think this is not hard? That's the same question as saying, do you think this is hard? You think this is not hard? It is hard. Well, it's hard for me. To be well, I stay at home and my husband does the shopping for us. Maybe as time moves on, I will make a list. I must remember to be kind if he has gone a long time or is not able to get things that I think he can get. I'm not there outside. I do not know. Maybe it is hard to find the shopping that we need, because sometimes I forget. Why didn't you get that? Why is that not on the shopping list or in the bag? What's happened there? And I sometimes forget. He's doing such a really good thing doing that shopping for me that I shouldn't really question. I should just accept and be really grateful that he's there for me. So not being able to go outside means some people can be lonely. I must be kind, be safe, be well, and remember that everyone is in the same boat as I am. So we use this expression a lot, don't we? Oh, we're in the same boat. It means the same thing's happening for everybody. Everybody has to stay at home, and quite rightly too. If anything, being autistic is a strength, because I don't feel lonely, and when all this is over, I will not remember the time that has gone. So I talk a lot about how I don't have the social memory of events that happen, but I have a fantastic memory for other things. So I will only remember the time that is to be, and that's what gives us hope when we think about all the good things that are going to happen once this time is over. So remembering that other people might feel lonely, might worry about the silence in ways that I don't, reminds me of how lucky I am to manage at home. So I might be at home, but I can still connect using my phone, and I try to connect with any learners who've worked with me at all, anywhere, by using the live classroom. I love the funny videos that Rotherham ESOL class send on our WhatsApp. When we laugh, we share, and that's really important. When you're laughing with somebody about something that you've both seen, that's sharing. So when we share, we connect, and that's a really important word I'm going to use a lot from now on, connect. Are we connecting? Most of all, just starting a classroom, somewhere to chat or learn, is our great connection, and that's something we need to remember, because do you know, it's really quite strange doing something online when you can't actually see your group. So to finish, I would say be safe, be well, be kind, stay connected, and then I would write my name for the end of that open letter from Jane, and that open letter is for everybody to share my thoughts about what it's like to be at home knowing that everybody else is in the same boat. So what does be safe mean? Write that little B there. Yeah, that's a play on the word be, because we know to be is the verb that we're looking at. Be safe. Well, at home we have internet safety, so we do need to be thinking about our children. If they're on the internet, are they safe? Are they using things that we know about, or are they on games that we haven't really thought about parental control? So that's quite important. And we do need to think about hazards in the home. So if you're cooking and your children are there, it's really quite important to think about how safe are they? How safe are you? And this is a little bit different to all the time before, because we might be used to our children going to school, or we might be used to our children going to nursery. So we have to remember all the time when they're in our home now that we need to keep them safe. So that's what be safe means. What about be well? Well, if you take medication or any form of tablets and this helps keep you well, that's great. But remember, if you have children or people in the home, you need to make sure that your medication is put somewhere safe. So you might put that in a box, but if you do, remember to lock it. Or you might put that in a cabinet. So many of us have medical cabinets in our bathrooms, and they're usually at a height that children can't reach. But remember, little children particularly are very interested in the things that you take, and they might be thinking some of those tablets are sweets. So particularly when our children are at home all of the time, we have to think about safety. Let's be well ourselves, but be safe. And I have to think about my physical well-being, because I can't go out. So I have to go out into the garden and make sure that I do get some kind of exercise there. And I have to think about my mental well-being, because now I can't see people that I'm used to seeing, and this might be very hard for me. And I have to think about my social well-being, that is about how you're used to meeting other people. For some of that, it's not too hard for me, because I like being at home on my own. But for me, it's a change of routine, and I really struggle with things being different and having to manage to do work at home and having to manage to be at home the whole time and not go anywhere. So remember, for yourself and for other children, we have those 3 things to think about. And I think you would find it quite funny if I showed you how I have to do my physical well-being in the garden. But do you know, there are some really good television programs about how to keep fit whilst you're at home. So maybe my next thing is that I should look at those. What do you think? Yes, I agree. So what about be kind? We say this a lot, don't we? Be kind. And then people post this on Facebook. Just be kind. In fact, I have a lovely t-shirt that says, if you can be anything in the world, be kind. So what does it mean? Be kind. Be patient. Now, this is very important for me because I get really annoyed if somebody breaks something at home and I have to remember they didn't do it on purpose, and it's quite hard because we're all stuck here in the house. Be humble. So think about yourself and other people, but also be yourself. I think that's the most important thing. Be yourself, and I know a lot of you are already very kind people, so being kind is quite natural for you. But sometimes, even if we are kind people, we have to think, if I say that, will it upset somebody? If I do that, will it upset somebody? And if I'm a really kind person, I will be trying very hard also to think about other people who are in the home with me. And this is a way in which we try to live together in these difficult times. So be kind to one another, even if you disagree on stuff. Well, what is stuff? I think it means anything you disagree with. And yes, we're all human. We are going to disagree. Nobody's going to agree with each other. So yesterday I was talking on a video chat with another teacher, and we were talking about the coronavirus and the way that the government had reacted to this. And we didn't actually agree, but we had a really excellent discussion. Even in disagreeing with each other doesn't mean it has to be difficult or unpleasant. So be kind and stay connected. Now, this is a new phrase we don't really use a lot. We often say be kind, but now I'm going to start saying stay connected. What does it mean? Stay connected. Stay, that's something to do with keep doing it. And connection, well, we all know about connection if we've got children, particularly teenagers, because they're always telling us about the internet connection. So I think it's about making sure you keep in touch in some way to everybody, or as many people as you can, that you used to be in touch with before you were stuck at home. So stay connected. To see those telegraph poles, that's reminding me that I really need to phone people, and that sometimes I sometimes forget to do that. So maybe phone if you can every day. If you can't, at least once every couple of days. And stay connected, that picture there with everybody standing holding hands, that means that I know that some of you are having live group chats at the moment, and that's absolutely fantastic because it means that you're all getting together. So thank you very much to invites that I receive. I can't always accept it if I'm on the Classroom Live, but I certainly will accept it if I'm not doing that. So stay connected. And finally, when people are talking and what they're really doing is sharing. That makes your life extra special. So there are some speech bubbles here. Can you hear me? Yes, I hear that a lot. Can someone send me that file? So I've got people working from home at the moment. So that's a question that I hear quite a lot as well. Hello, that's a really good starting point. And can you see there's a question mark? I think that's because we go back to that connection. Sometimes the connection doesn't work. So you might have to be questioning, hello, can you hear me? And that's when we use hello with a question mark. Hello, it means, can you hear me? Can you see me? Yes, I use that a lot since I started doing these live classrooms, because I'm not quite sure if you can see me because I can't see you. And sometimes we use the word guys when we're talking to a group of people. Guys, this app doesn't work. And because I was born before mobile phones existed, I'm not as good at getting onto apps as some of you might be, because some people have grown up with mobile phones. So please remember, when you're talking to an older generation, that they might not be keeping in touch because they don't really understand how to use it, or they've never used it before, so they might need a little bit of help to do that. So when we're talking about staying connected, we're really relying on all of you to help all of us. And that's brilliant if we're all working together. Well, stay connected, and at 11 o'clock every week we're going to do Elevenses Speak. If you want to chat, that's great. If you don't want to chat, that's also fine. And I will talk about something that's important for my week. So this week I talked about what it was like for me at home, and I wrote you an open letter. So I hope you understand now the difference between a letter to recipients, people who receive it, and an open letter that we use when we're publishing it to a group of people. So stay connected. See you soon. Be there or be square. I haven't heard that phrase for a long time, but when I was a child we used to use that a lot. Be there or be square. I don't think we even really knew what it meant. We kind of suggested it meant you need to be there or be square. And good news, everyone. Elevenses Speak is at 11 o'clock on Monday. Thank you for joining me, and I hope that when you listen to the open letter that I wrote for you, that you understand that it's difficult for everybody too at the moment, and it's absolutely fantastic when you share with others, so that's great. So finally, goodbye and thank you. Bye now.